Hi, everybody.
Hey
It's
everybody, I don't know if you noticed, but TJ has a new computer.
how would they know that? They would have, yeah. I bought
I'm just
a completely
I'm
frivolous.
so ecstatic for you. I just wanted the world to know.
I appreciate that. Yeah,
Yeah.
this
I
is
mean,
it's
from
only slightly better than my last computer. So
for that half a viewer that is watching us on YouTube,
yeah, yeah.
we half of an average viewer, you look crystal clean right now.
I
So
mean,
clean.
it's the same camera.
It looks
So
good.
I just did the blackout thing for the Nvidia. So anyway, what do we
Yeah, all
watch
right.
this
Yeah.
week, Chris?
Okay. What did we watch? We watched The Conference,
Yeah,
a
there or
Swedish
yeah,
horror.
the conference. I can't do Ernie Schwerndy Swedish chef accent. Yeah, what's the conference in Swedish?
Conference.
Conference. I was about to say I don't think I've seen any Swedish movies, and then I remembered that what's his name? Jesus, now I can't think. The guy Virgin Springs, Igmar Bergman. He
Oh
was
yeah.
Swedish, so I
And
watched a
didn't
ton of.
wasn't The Innocent Swedish, or was that Norwegian?
Was
Maybe
it?
that was Norwegian.
I don't remember. And that part of the world, it's all the same to me.
Well, there goes
Den-
those viewers.
Denmark, Sweden, Norway.
Who else can we
It,
alienate?
it's really do you produce does your country produce black metal or technical death metal? That's the only that's the differentiating factors in my
Our
musical
delicious
knowledge.
little red fish.
Oh
Love them.
yeah, those are good. I
They are
do
very
like
good.
those. And then Tom Green going Swedish, Swedish. Anybody remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Deep
so we
cut.
watched The Conference. This is a horror comedy, like kind of. I don't know. It
Yeah.
totally. I thought it was a little bit of a mess. It's definitely trying to be like a black comedy. It is a. It is definitely satirical to a certain degree. Like it is about like kind of like workplace bullshit that you have to deal with, and specifically like I mean this is called The Conference because it's like a work retreat that they all go on, and they're like land developers, and they're basically building this like giant community, like a planned community, and in the process of building this planned community, like happens in the real world most of the time, they have to displace uh the locals, very topical
Yeah.
uh for what's going on right now.
Farmer's got to go.
But so yeah, that's kind of the movie, and then they have this conference, and then as they have this conference they get a slasher, like a guy that goes through and systematically picks them all off, and that's kind of the movie.
Yeah.
um like
I
it Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I'm so glad that one of the members of the team brought this Sooty. His name's Sooty. He's the
Yeah,
mascot,
yeah,
and
he represents a Swedish coal miner,
yeah,
which was kind of weird because I didn't really understand the reference, and I guess that's more of like a Swedish labor kind of thing because they're
yeah,
not near a coal mine in the movie, like at all. It's all like farmland,
farmland.
but I guess like a coal miner is like a cultural touchstone for Swedish people, I guess.
And so, the big shitbag of the film brought this Sooty costume, and thank God the killer found this helmet, because if he didn't,
Yeah.
this this movie I don't think could hold its own weight. The fact that the killer wore this outfit almost the entire movie
Well,
really
yeah.
for me.
I mean the helmet's great.
Yeah.
Um,
Here, let me
the
move out of the way. So which there you go. That's a better.
the helmet's great. Um, I'm just gonna go ahead and say the rest of the movie I have issues with. Like I felt like I will say though, right off the bat, one of my favorite things about this whole movie, I can listen to Swedish people just say bullshit American English platitudes all day long. Like there's that one guy that's just like rock and roll. And he's like teamwork make the dream work. And like what's weird, and like I don't know, this is just as an American watching a foreign movie, but like when they switched to English, like they spoke really well. Like their English was like really good. Yeah, I
Because
thought
they're
that was.
so much better educated than we are.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. Yeah,
They can
I
speak
mean,
better English than we can, and we're native
oh,
speakers.
without it, they probably know more about America. They probably know. Yeah, no, it's 100% true.
Way more in tune with American politics than we are.
Oh, they have healthcare, so they stay alive a lot longer than we
Yeah.
do, and
Oh, they're so fortunate.
um, but yeah,
Oh,
like what was that? Is that me?
we said
That was
at the same time.
oh,
So, oh,
so
he did it again.
the thing about
Thing
this
about,
movie
oh,
that
sorry.
kills me is that I feel like it struggles to define what it wants to be, right? Because the kills are very violent and very disgusting, and but they're always punctuated by like a jump cut, like somebody's about to get their head cut off, and then it cuts to somebody like cutting a lime.
I
You know what I mean?
loved that. I
That was pretty
loved
clever.
that.
But again, it
I
adds like this level of comedy, and then
Yeah,
like the innate like I'm gonna coin a phrase officeness of
yeah,
this movie. It's like it's kind of funny, but then like it's not like I don't know, it's not like funny, like I don't
yeah.
know. And
It's not laugh out loud funny.
no, at like no point. And then like it kind of gets serious in the middle at times, and it's like I don't know. The other thing that I felt kind of strange about this movie is that there's never any real mystery as to who the killer is. You kind of know right away. Like they don't ever like there's like kind of lip service brought on that it might be the fucking dickhead guy, but like he's around every time somebody gets murdered, so you know
yeah.
it's not him.
And then they alluded to the fact that it might be the farmer who they're displacing, and
Right.
in
But he
the end, you
died.
find
Yeah,
out
it's the
that's
farmer's kid or
the
whatever, right?
farmer's son. But in the end, it doesn't even really matter who it was.
No.
Like that was like the least important element to this entire movie was finding out who the actual killer was.
I didn't care. Yeah, no, it didn't really matter.
Yeah, I found the rest of the movie incredibly entertaining.
Really? See, this is
I loved
interesting,
it.
right? See,
Yeah,
I was kind of bored by it. I felt
really.
like it took too long in between kills, and like I felt like its pacing was kind of off. Again, like tonally, I didn't really jive with the movie. Like there's parts that I liked. Like it I kind of wish like there's a part in the movie where they're in the like the first meeting that they have, and they have this like it reminded me of when I can't remember the name of the fictional town, but when the Simpsons when Homer got recruited by Hank Scorpio and they
Oh yeah,
go to and like there's this like idealized version of where they're moving to, and like a homeless guy turns into a fucking mailbox, and like it's just like like the nicest place in the world, and that's like I like this like hyper idealized community that they were building, and then like they cut back to the people in the office, and they're like, did the Nazi party make this? Because it was all just like white families, and like it was very like
they're like,
you know,
hold on, there's no such thing as like there was a white gang,
yeah,
like
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it,
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
it
I love that part. I thought, see, I wish like that the movie had that tone the whole time,
yeah,
and like I wish like it kind of recognized how silly it was at times, because like Sooty is killing every member of the staff,
yeah.
but like seemingly nobody really realizes it until like nine of them are already dead, and it should be like, where's the like hike instructor? Like she's gone, the cook's dead, the head lady of the camp is dead. Like they
Yeah.
never go like that's kind of weird that they're all just gone. Like you know what I mean? Like they never really mention it until they're all slaughtered. Um I don't know. It was a weird like I don't think it's bad. Like I don't think it's a bad movie. I didn't connect with it at all. Like I don't know.
Yeah. I
I
think they did it. I personally, I think they did a good job of balancing the humor with the gore elements, because there was a lot of times where you're like, okay, this is getting kind of goofy and silly, and they're talking about inner office politics. And then bam, you have Sooty murdering somebody with the pan in the kitchen. It's like, okay, this is good. It breaks it up. Um, I thought the kills were decent. They weren't
yeah,
like
they were kind of fun.
over the top. They were also kind of silly.
I also felt bad for every person that died in this movie because they were all just poor suckers doing their job. Like the chef in the beginning was just having
Oh
like a
yeah,
really bad day, and then he gets
yeah.
murdered, and it's just like That's kind of a bummer. Like,
when there was only like one or two people that really, really deserved it. I mean,
really
listen,
just the
nobody
one.
deserves to be
Just the
murdered.
one guy. I mean, I feel like the dick, and maybe like his little stoolie, like, but the rest of
Yeah.
them were just like people. Like, I don't know. And I
Yeah.
mean, it's funny because I'm kind of talking out of both sides of my mouth because one thing that I remember being very upset at the Texas Chainsaw remake. God, there's been so many of
Which
them
one? I was
now.
gonna say which one.
The Michael Bay one, like
Okay.
the I'm gonna say the original Texas Chainsaw remake. Um, so they had to make all those kids drug dealers in that movie, and I thought
Yeah.
that was really fucking stupid. And the reason I thought it was stupid is like, well, they have to make them kind of bad so you don't feel bad when they die. So it's like it is kind of jarring when you murder like completely innocent people. Like I kind of like it, but again, like it kind of goes against how like like it's a little too harsh for the rest of the movie. Like I don't know, it's weird. You know what I mean?
Especially
It's like it's like
the
funny
elderly
games.
people.
Yeah, exactly.
You kind of hope that they get a pass.
Yeah, no.
But
Well,
no.
they were like the final survivors. Like that old man, like
And tell me,
basically.
TJ, tell me you didn't like the scene where Sooty confronted that older woman and she
Oh
like
yeah,
took his helmet off and looked at him and was
yeah,
like, "You're not the farmer." And then he just takes a knife like right to her skull and she
yeah,
just walks around like a zombie for the rest of the movie with this
yeah.
knife right in
I
her
was
skull.
yeah. It was very weird. It was funny. I'll give you that. It was funny.
I still have
Um,
the visual stuck in my head and it's
I
still,
also
yeah.
liked when they the two old people they think they like got Sooty because the one like sets him on fire with like a blowtorch, and they're like celebrating, but he's just kind of on his helmet's on fire, and then when
Yeah.
he like starts attacking them, they like freak out. It's like, well, yeah, like it's not like he's not done. And then of course the like the de facto final girl like cuts his head off with the shovel, which I I don't think would work. The shovel is too
Yeah,
blunt of
shovel,
an
that would be
object.
really hard.
You'd have to really sharpen the edges of that shovel
Yeah.
to just slice through a neck.
Or be
Uh,
incredibly strong and swift with that shovel, which
yeah,
who knows, maybe she practices, maybe she cuts
I
a
one
lot of
of
things,
one of
maybe
my
trims
favorite
trees.
pieces of history is back in the old days in like feudal Japan. They use katanas just like you
Yeah.
see in the movie, but they were notorious for like getting stuck because they'd
Yeah.
like slash and they'd get stuck in people, and then
Oh.
they would die because the other person would still be alive enough to just start stabbing them back, and it's like Jesus Christ. Like
Now that would be a funny scene in a movie.
there's a couple of movies that actually show that. It's pretty
Yeah.
badass. There's a movie called The Swordsman that came out a couple years
Oh
ago that I
yeah.
really like. Also Takashi Miike's 13 Assassins has a lot of like swords getting stuck in people. It's just so gross. Like like I just can't imagine. Like, ugh.
Like how tiring and annoying it must it be to get your like sword stuck in the 13th, guy's head, and you're like, I
Oh
gotta
yeah.
pull this out of his brain, like, and then I gotta clean it off. I'm not gonna
Oh,
put
and
this in my
well, that
sheath,
and you're in the middle of
you
a
know.
battlefield, so you probably don't get to 13. It's probably 2, and then somebody stabs you in the back and you're
Yeah,
dead. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like it's yeah.
You
That or
gotta, you gotta, you gotta, you gotta stab, but not stab too hard.
yeah, you gotta be
That's
quick
the
with
art
that.
of it.
They gotta like poke and just poke and move on. That's a good philosophy to life. Poke and move on.
All right. So what you said that you thought like the balance was a little off, right? Like the
Yeah, I mean,
comedy, the tone was a little off. Was there any of it where you thought they hit it right with
well,
the
like I said,
comedy?
I really liked that video. Like I felt like the video that they made with the community
Yeah.
was almost like a hyper realism kind of thing where it's like it's absurdist, but it kind of works. And
Yeah.
I kind of like I said, it's always unfair to talk about the movie that you wanted compared to the movie that you got. But I felt like that tone is like perfect for what it is, or like, you know what I mean? I feel like the scene that you talked about with like the knife getting stuck in that lady's head and she just kind of deals with it, like that's great, but that's like that's not every scene, right? Like, or it's
Yeah.
not that's like kind of few and far between, and it's like because you have the long stretches where it's sort of serious, and it's like about like, this guy like forged the one lady's signature, and like then like you have the guy that looks like Swedish Josh Gad or whatever, what is that his name, Josh Gad, like
Yeah.
that, the fat guy with the glasses. That
Yeah.
one guy looked just like him, and I was
Yeah.
like, holy shit. I thought it was him for a while. I was like, oh my god. But like you got him who's like this like sweetheart guy that's kind of sweet on the lead
Very
actress.
loyal, loving.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then he like dies, and it's really sad. And it's like it's kind of it's totally very hard to like balance these things. Like there's a movie that came out, I know TJ loves talking about other movies. There's a movie that came out a few years ago, and it's not by any means a classic, but it's called The Belko Experiment. And I feel like The Belko Experiment is a better version of this movie. It also takes place in an office. It's also very violent, and it's kind of funny, but it's more like disgusting and violent than funny. It's more like a battle royal type movie. For you kids at home, battle royal the movie, not the genre of video games that were kind of inspired by that movie, which is still fucking weird to me. But yeah, like the Belko Experiment is kind of this movie, but like it cuts right to the chase. It doesn't really, like, you have a little bit of that inner office stuff, but it's just kind of, it's very consistent, and it's more of a like an exploitation movie. You know what I mean? Like, because it's super violent, and it's like over the top, and then by the time you're done, like the conceit of the movie is kind of ridiculous, but again, like it's in line with the rest of it. It's very tonally consistent. Where
Mhm.
I feel like this movie is kind of up and down. And I don't know, again, like some directors can do that well, and some movies pull that off really well. Like like Parasite, for example. That
Yeah.
movie is like funny and thoughtful and emotional and like kind of everything all at once, but like it's tough to balance. It's a tightrope act, as they say.
Yeah. I always go back to Shaun of the Dead when I think,
That's a great example. Really,
yeah,
well, those three Edgar Wright movies
yeah.
specifically, he's a master at that.
And they're just so well done, and the balance, you're right, is just like spot on. That's really, really hard to do when you're, especially
It's yeah,
when you're dealing with death, and there does have to be some serious parts when you're dealing with even when it's like a horror comedy, like you want to have those periods of grief in there to add some levity.
yeah. When you
There,
want to, you need to have weight to what you're
yeah.
actually watching. If everybody's like a cartoon character and just dying left and right, and it doesn't mean anything, then it doesn't. It's not going to stick with you.
And I feel like the only time I felt that in this movie was when that Josh Gad lookalike was when he died.
Yeah, when he
Uh,
got he got impaled through those like
yeah,
bamboo
the
shoots on
spikes, the
the
zip line.
I
So
can't
he
I
and
can't
his
not.
love.
Do you watch I Think You Should Leave, the new season
Yes.
where he's
Yeah, yeah,
on
yeah.
that like dating
The
game
zip
show, and
line.
he's just on the zip line?
He's like
Like,
shoving food in his mouth so he can get on the zip line.
and he's doing like tricks as he like falls off of it. That's like all I could think of when I saw that zip line. I was like, oh my god.
uh, have you ever been on a zip line?
Really? Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Just like the one in the movie, like across like a
With
big
with the
like
spikes
river.
across at the
Not with the spikes, no, sadly, no. I mean, it would have ended this sad existence. But yeah, no, I'm still here. But no,
I
I did it. It was kind of cool. The thing that kind of killed me as someone that's seen those things on TV and in video games and stuff, like in Far Cry, when you go zip line, you're like zipping. You're like, that's why it's called
yeah.
a zip line. You're going like this. It was kind of slow. I was like, this kind of
Yeah.
sucks. Like I wanted to go fast, you know?
Um yeah, they don't want you to have fun on this. They
Yeah,
just
it
want you
was
to.
still cool. I mean, it's still kind of neat, but yeah, it wasn't. I don't know.
Where
It's
did
not.
you go on one? In
It's
this
a long
country?
time ago. No, oh yeah, I've never been outside of America. I'm not like you.
I
I'm a very poor American child. But no, it was in who the hell was it? It was in like Deep Creek or something. I don't know. It
Oh,
was in
really?
somewhere in Maryland. I forget where. I was on a date and we did it. It was fun.
Oh,
I
we
think
should
it
go.
was.
You know what? We could just drive to
You and me want to
Canada.
go?
Yeah,
Yeah, let's do it.
we could zip line across one of the Great Lakes
That would be amazing.
right
Can
into
we do
Canada.
that? That seems like very long. That'd be a very long zip line.
Pretty sure it doesn't exist. but maybe I had
you'd have to like the
turn on the
force in
light.
which you'd have to zip across that to make it all the way. Oh my God.
God, sorry.
Chris is getting abducted
There we
by
go.
aliens like that movie we watched a couple weeks ago.
um okay, so this didn't really hit for you then.
No, it didn't. But again, like I didn't hate it. Like I didn't like go, well,
Yeah.
this movie's trash. I did have a pretty good letterbox review on this one.
Oh, can
This
do
movie,
tell.
yeah, this movie could have been an email. I was pretty proud of that one. Um, Also, like I kind of wanted more. It's funny, right? Like I wanted more of the like office crap, like that, like when
Yeah.
they that scene where they like because again this was early and they kind of set the tone when they flash back to some deranged guy that used to work in their office that stabbed somebody. I'm like, okay, more of this,
Yeah.
like more of this, like insane, like like insane crap. Like we didn't like Keith's fucking Halloween costume for the office, so he set the fucking trash can on fire or some weird
I
shit
feel
like
if they
that.
did that, that could have been a whole separate movie,
Yeah,
you
yeah. I
know?
mean, yeah,
And it would have been great.
yeah.
But
I would have like that.
whenever they cut back to the protagonist, I forgot her name,
I
but
yeah,
I was kind of
I don't
like,
remember. I don't remember anybody's name.
yeah, we'll just call him protagonist.
Well,
And
yeah, and like
it's like,
her. That's the other
this is
thing.
like my least favorite part of the movie.
Well,
Whenever,
yeah, and she's kind of boring as a
yeah,
character. Like she's just
yeah,
kind of like she's not happy about anything the whole time. She like I thought maybe they were gonna build something up because like they kept alluding to her like missing work or something, and I thought it was gonna be some big deal, and it really wasn't.
yeah,
And then they try to like spice it up a little bit by making the dickhead guy like come on to her, and maybe there was something
yeah,
there before, but that doesn't really go anywhere. Um, yeah, like it's just kind of like that's it's just kind of there, and she's the lead, and it's just like
right. Yeah, I feel like they could have made that Josh Gad look alike the lead, and it would have been perfectly fine, or someone else. I
or
just
the yeah,
think
or
that
the
she
old
kind of brought it
people.
down. Like when you talk about tone, it's kind of like, okay, I'm having a good time. I'm watching some killings. I'm watching some slashings, and then I got some comedy, and then boom, I'm like brought down
Yeah,
by this character who's all like depressed and pissed, and just
and you
kind
don't really know why. She's
of
not like again, and in a better movie, I feel like maybe her trepidation or her problems tie into the larger theme of the movie. Like I
yeah,
don't know, in a weird way, maybe if she's the killer, it's a better movie.
yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like
She's
because
surely seems like she would have the motivation to.
I mean, I'm just saying that like
Maybe that's too obvious.
making the killer someone that's just kind of removed from the whole story, like is kind of it's just kind of weak. Like it doesn't like I get it. Like and again, like they from the beginning, they're like, well, the farmers are pissed off that they've been displaced or whatever, obviously. So you're like, well, that's gotta be who's the killer is. And the other thing is I wish there was more of an angle. I don't and the thing is, I don't know where you'd put this in the movie, right? But like maybe start the movie story a little earlier, like see some of that conflict between them and the
Yeah.
people that live there already that have been displaced, because it's just kind of paid like this very fast like lip service, and for something that's so crucial to the whole movie it seems kind of underserved, you know what I mean? Like it's just
Yeah.
kind of there. But I don't, but then again, like then it's a 3 hour movie, I don't know, you know what I mean? It's tough, like I
And if
don't.
you were already bored in the first like
Yeah,
30
it's
minutes.
just it's a very tough thing to say, or maybe like I don't know, maybe have one of the people like, well, here one of the staff, right? Let's have one of the staff is actually he part times at the lodge or whatever the resort or wherever they whatever you call it, but he also lives at one of the farms that they had to displace.
Yeah.
There you go. You make it more localized immediately, and you could have them and the dickhead guy have a little tete-a-tete, and then you know what I mean, like then maybe it makes it
It
makes it a
makes more.
little bit
Yeah.
more cohesive. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like it made sense to make the killer who he was, but it just it didn't
Didn't
really
add
matter. It
anything.
didn't add
Yeah,
anything.
it didn't really add anything, and it didn't really like I'm not saying that it has to be like a big mystery who it is, but um excuse me as I fucking vomit. Um it it doesn't have to be like a huge mystery. Like not every damn slasher movie has to be like a big like super crazy reveal. but like I would hope that it add like the slasher needs to add something to the story.
Yeah.
And in this, it's just like, well, they're just there killing people. And the other problem is that, like I said before, the slasher is killing people, but it's almost inconsequential to the plot until like the very end. Because again, they're not reacting to these other people dying. And again, if you make that the joke that they're fucking self-absorbed assholes and they don't realize that like the staff is just they're just disappearing left and right, like that's funny, but they don't do that. They don't lean into that. Like
Or
that
if
would
they
have been
like
a funny scene.
showed shock and awe when they first see a dead body and then are like, I fucking hated that guy anyway. And then like close
Right?
the
Yeah,
door.
something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they literally don't like they don't acknowledge that these other people have died. They don't really seemingly care. And
Yeah.
I mean, they don't care because they're not really aware of it. So it's a weird way to write this movie because again, like you're not they're not in this huge metropolitan area. They're in this tiny little camp, so they would be aware of some of these things going on. You would think, you know,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Again, it's not terrible. Certainly
It's
not.
it's a pretty basic concept for horror film.
No, I
You know,
mean,
like
yeah, it's
it's
a slasher. It's
yeah.
you know, we've watched a few slashers on here. What was the last one we watched? The Burning.
The Burning.
And that was good. Like
Yeah.
that was fun. And like that, but see that one I felt like I don't know, you kind of care that first of all, the killer was absurd and like that,
It's
that
still
fucking
talk about a funny movie that was not supposed to be funny.
that
That
fucking opening scene where the guy just has an open gas can next to his bed. I don't think I'm ever gonna forget that. And
and then
the
a
kids,
full burn
the
suit
kid, yeah. Oh,
as
well,
he's
and
rolling down the
don't
hill.
forget the kids. The thing that they were using to freak the guy out is literally like a
And
fucking corpse's head that they just happen to have. Like this will scare Counselor Jake, and it's just like this fucking maggot-filled skull. It's like, what did you guys do? Like Jesus Christ! But that movie was great because it was like it was perverted and weird, and
yeah.
like all the characters were dickheads, and like it was weirdly horny. Like that movie had so many like as unintentional as it may be, it was interesting because it just had so much shit in it that like didn't really jive. It's
Yeah.
like this movie needed some more of that, just like weird energy. This movie doesn't really. It's very kind of. It's you know what I mean. It needed something else. I'm not sure what.
Do you think it's possible to be scared? I'm trying to think of an example of a slasher where you're cheering for the people to die but are still scared when it happens. Is that possible?
I
I'm
don't
trying to think.
know.
I can't think of anything
I mean,
like
scared is such a weird term for me with horror movies because I hear it a lot with horror movies. Obviously, and I don't really personally. I don't find any movie like scary. Like
for
I
the
don't.
general viewer, like let's like a jump
I mean,
scare. Like
I'm gonna guess because it's all about how the scene is framed, right? Like I think the reason that horror movies work and the things that get under people's skin is because you can put yourself in the place of the victim or whatever.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like Jamie Lee Curtis in that closet when fucking Michael Myers is stabbing at her. Like I've seen closets like that. Like I don't know, it's like a terrifying thing, and I can envision myself being in that environment. And like I think in that case that I mean, obviously Jamie Lee Curtis, you want her to survive, but like I think her character in that instance is kind of inconsequential to how you would feel in that
yeah,
scenario. So I guess so. Probably.
yeah.
I don't know. Um,
All
we
right,
got
you
about
gonna do
what
scores?
5 minutes scores.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go ahead.
I would give this one 8.4. I thought they did a fairly good job of you know, the even though I didn't like understand what they were saying, it was subtitled. So, and I wonder if that's part of the issue too. I wonder if some things just don't translate
I mean that is
properly.
that's always something. I
Maybe
mean, and
it's a lot funnier to somebody who speaks Swedish natively.
that
Um,
could be, and also like there might be a lot of like cultural like
references.
signifiers that
Yeah.
we're not picking up on. Like again, the Sooty thing
Right.
is I only after I read it on Wikipedia, like it's literally like a
Maybe they
Swedish.
grew up with Sooty and he was on like the front of like cereal
Or,
boxes.
Yeah,
like Sootyos,
exactly.
or you know, like
Yeah.
uh,
Sooties.
Sooties. um, the the death scenes I thought were pretty darn good. Pretty bloody, pretty gruesome, um, and clever. You know, like
Yeah.
I'm always looking for a new angle to see someone uh, get killed, and they did a pretty good job, I think, of adding
It's a
few
funny
new
way to put
twists.
it.
Yeah. You know, you get tired with the usual
Get tired of the
hammer or knife
usual
or
people getting shot and stabbed. Yeah, let's think of
I
something
need
new, guys.
yeah, I
That
need
guy
more.
getting killed by the boat motor in the hot tub was pretty great.
Exactly.
I thought that was a
Case in
lot of
point.
fun.
Yeah. All right. So what do you give it?
I give it like a
Okay.
6.5.
Not
Like
bad.
again, I didn't think it was bad. I don't think it's in like 5 territory where it's like forgettable and like it's got it needs another draft. I feel like there's
Yeah.
something here. I
Yeah.
just felt like it didn't quite I don't know, it didn't define itself enough for me, if that makes any sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like we just said about the burning. The burning is the weird, horny, violent, weird ass, like I have no idea what's going on movie. Like this is just kind of like there's a slasher in the camp and it's just like
I think you're
there's like old people in it and that's about it. Like I
I,
don't know.
I think you're right though. Like if they just kept it within the group, like
Yeah.
the dynamics within, like make like an office space version
Yeah.
of a horror, and like let's say they're like have to stay overnight to like work late, or not even
Right.
overnight, but
Or
you
the
know, and
same
then
thing, like
somebody's
they you could
pissed.
have the same setting, but
Yeah,
like, hey guys, like even though we're at this retreat, like we have crunch, there's something that came in, so now they got to fucking stay there an extra day or something.
yeah,
You can do it.
yeah,
I just feel like it would make the dynamics between the characters mean a little bit more, and
right.
then the killer again is more meaningful than just kind of being. Again, he's just kind of there, like he
Yeah.
doesn't really matter. So, I don't know. Anyway, that's the movie. That's Der Conference. Oh, that's German.
The conference then.
Yeah. Again, I love Swedish. I If there's some kind of supercut of all the just English that's used in this movie, like watch that because it is hilarious. I don't know why, it's just so funny. Because at one point the guy's like gangsta, and like it's so like that shit is so funny to me. Like I know people like cry about like cultural appropriation, but like culturally appropriate America all day long,
Oh,
please, because
it is so
I can't
good.
get enough of it.
Yeah. It's
It's
not an
so fun.
insult in any way,
No,
shape, or
it's
form. It's
hilarious.
hilarious.
It's very funny.
Yeah.
But and again, like all the like goofy ass like team building, like platitudes. Oh my god,
Yeah.
teamwork makes the dream work. Fucking killed me. Like, anyway, that's the show. I don't know what we're gonna watch next week.
No, we'll
I
figure it
I
out the day before,
I
I'm sure.
almost want to. There's a new VHS that's out that people are like, it's really good, and I'm like, probably
Yeah,
not.
yeah. All right.
VHS 84. I don't know. I don't
Um,
know if we want to dive back into those waters, but
we might need to give it a little bit more time.
yeah. But we'll figure it out. I don't know.
Yeah.
It next week technically will be the spookiest episode of the year because it'll be around our Halloween episode.
Ooh. All right. Well, we've already
But
done Halloween movies. All right. Well, we'll do something good.
we'll figure it out.
Y'all deserve it.
That's true.
You
I mean,
deserve a good movie.
you don't, but we'll see.
We deserve it.
Yeah, we deserve it. That's absolutely.
All
All right,
right.
everybody. Bye bye.
See ya.